Hello and welcome to another episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple. I'm your host, Jennie Lyon, and today I'm really excited to talk about 5 of the top ways that a social media expert can help grow your audience quickly. So I was thinking, do you ever feel like your social media growth has just kind of stalled? I hear this a lot from my clients. And really, one of the most frustrating parts about creating an online community is the feeling that it isn't growing, right? So many small business owners, they start their social media platforms for their business. So they get on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest, and then they invest hours and hours into them, only to see their followers tick up one by one. It's like in slow motion. And many social media experts will tell you that the trick to social media is perseverance, right? And I do agree with that. However, it's important to remember that spending hours every day on social media, it's not your job and it's not a good use of your time. You, as a small business owner, have a ton of daily responsibilities. Not to mention, you should really be spending the bulk of your time on that one thing that only you can do. And spending your time on Instagram is not one of them. That's why hiring a digital marketing team with a social media expert can be an excellent investment for any small business owner. Rather than using all of your time and energy on building your following, you can have an expert on your team who will put that knowledge to work for you and build your audience using tried and true methods. So I thought we'd talk about some of my favorites. So I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before, but engagement. Engagement is key, right? So when you want to grow your audience, it's all about the engagement. The more attention that you give your followers, the more attention you'll receive, right? Let me say that again. So the more attention that you give your followers, the more attention you'll receive. So in this way, social media, it kind of mirrors the real world, right? So if you have a brick and mortar business and you want to build a clientele, then you need to have conversations and make connections while people are at your physical location. Well, the same is true for social media. The only thing that's changed is that the venue is now online, right? So commenting on posts, it's an incredibly effective way of engaging. And by hiring a team like ours, we can go in and do all that commenting for you. We can find posts that will likely be followed by your target audience. And it's not just a game of posting, hey, nice photo, or love this on every single post, right? Social media experts will spend their time writing engaging messages, inviting people to interact, and starting conversations with your ideal audience. There is a strategy behind it. And then after you engage in conversations with specific people in the comments, then you could follow up with, say, a direct message to them. Mind you, it's really important that, again, you have a strategy here. So you aren't just sending random messages to people, but by creating a strategy and having a set of templates that you could send to people that are customized directly to them, say for an introduction or follow-up messages, you really increase the odds that a direct message will garner a positive response. And we can do that for you. Next up is getting into some groups, right? So simply put, groups are an amazing way to connect with your target audience. A challenge of social media is figuring out which people make up your target audience, right? You want to find those people and engage with those people. And Facebook and LinkedIn groups make this incredibly easy. You simply have to find groups that share your values and attract the people that you want to become your customers. And this is another place where having a digital marketing team can be a great way to save time. So Facebook and other social media networks are specifically designed to draw you in for hours at a time. And they're possibly the most effective time sink ever invented. And if you were to search Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn and find groups with your audience, you could really fall down a rabbit hole. You could spend a whole afternoon. And when you have a social media expert doing this for you, they know exactly where to look and what to look for. And by the way, I wouldn't recommend going crazy and adding, posting to tons of different groups online. That, again, is not a good use of your time. And it can also come off as being spammy. So instead, you want to pick a few groups that you feel really passionate about and start getting engaged with them. It's better to focus your attention on a few groups with a ton of potential clients than hundreds of groups full of people who are not your ideal audience. And hashtags, right? So groups are only one way that you can find your ideal audience on social media. Another powerful method that I see really underutilized is hashtags. So hashtags, they're kind of thrown around, right, with little care or thought. But in reality, there is a stunningly powerful tool within hashtags for locating the people who are really interested in your content. So you want to ask yourself, what hashtags would my audience be interested in, right? So for example, let's say that I search for French bulldogs, right? So that would be perfect for me personally, right? I have a French bulldog, but it would hardly help build my digital marketing business, right? It would hardly build that audience. So instead, I would search for hashtags that I feel my ideal audience would be using in their posts. And then once I have a list of potential hashtags, then I start to do some searches for them, right? That way I can see if my ideal client is using them and how they're engaging and who's engaging. So once I find those peeps, my peeps, then, I will start to reach out to them. So I don't hit them with tons of, sales jargon or marketing lingo. I want to engage them in actual conversation, right? So I don't want them to feel like I'm just reaching out to market to them, because I'm not. I want to get to know them better and know their business and, and then possibly offer them some valuable advice on, how they can build their business. So I really want to start by building a relationship with them. And then similarly, you really want to put some thought into the hashtags that you're using, right? So my advice would be to use some that are going to be very specific to your business, and then some that are going to be specific to the post itself. That way you kind of get a cross section of hashtags, and it'll help for those already following you, but it'll also help for people who are searching for the type of content that you offer. And remember to use all of the hashtags that are available to you on every single post, because if you're only using 20 of them, then you're missing out on a huge opportunity. And remember, as with everything online, content is still queen. So if you want people to be engaged with your social media content, then you really want to provide them with genuine content. You want it to be really value packed, and you want to give them small wins. And content really is the bread and butter of digital marketing. So whether it's your weekly blog post or newsletter, your podcast, YouTube video, a lead magnet, webinar, there's lots of different types of valuable content. And we really want that content to bring people into your world, right? We want to pull them in and then convert them into paying customers. And social media is possibly one of the best ways to get your content out there. And if you offer valuable content, then people will want to engage with you, especially if you create it on a very regular and consistent basis. And don't forget, you really want it to be beautiful as well. So people will follow your account simply because they want to know, what's going on with you and what exciting content you have coming up. But unfortunately, most small business owners, the only thing that's more time consuming than social media is creating content, right? So I hear this again and again, coming up with your weekly piece of content, whether it's a blog post, a podcast, a video. These types of content can take up hours of your life. So you might also want to consider hiring a copywriter who is a professional and, can be an incredible time saver for you and really improve the content's quality and thus improve your social media engagement. And next up is Instagram stories. Oh my goodness, I adore Instagram stories. I get sucked into them. I don't know if you guys know, but every afternoon, my thing is like once I get off work at between 5 and 5:30, I get in the hot tub. I know I live in Florida. I adjust the temperature before I go out. How cool is it? How hot is it out? But I love the hot tub. And one of the things that I do, especially when my husband gets out before me to make dinner, is I get on Instagram. Of course I do. And I get sucked into stories, right? And, you know, stories are so fascinating to me because one part of stories is that they're disposable, right? I mean, all social media is kind of disposable. Yeah, I mean, long term, it doesn't really matter how popular your last social media post was because it's going to get buried in a mountain of content from other people, a day later. But it's really that regular day over day posting that's what really builds a connection with your audience. And stories is such a great way to do that. I mean, even though they are disposable and they, get deleted after 24 hours, unless you save them into your highlights, they disappear. But I really do get sucked into them. And I find myself wanting to know what's happening with so and so. What's going on in their business? What kind of services are they offering? It really does suck you in. And it's even been so popular that Facebook's pushed it into their news feed. And I've started to see other social media networks really adopting that same sort of idea as stories on their own platforms. So believe me, short and temporary video, it isn't going anywhere. So jump on the bandwagon, really just jump on. And, there's a lot of various strategies when it comes to using Instagram stories, right? So I always tell my clients as a good start, just post once a day, 5 days a week, and give it a try for 30 days, right? And make sure that you're checking your results and looking at your analytics because you'll very quickly see what type of content your audience is interested in, right? So if you're doing quick little check-in videos where you turn the camera, to yourself and you're just, talking about your services and your products or your clients or, whatever, you'll start to see, are people really interested in that? Or maybe it's when you're sharing, other tidbits of your business. It may not even be video. It might just be a screenshot of, your content, but you'll start to see what type of stories are really resonating with your audience, and you'll start to get the interaction there so that you can create more of it. And so I just recommend give it a try for 30 days. See what the results look like. See if you're getting a lot of interest, and then maybe bump it up a bit, right? Start doing multiple stories, every day, or maybe add the weekends in. But, of course, as a small business owner, I get it. You aren't going to have a lot of time to interrupt your workflow every day to get onto Instagram stories, right? So I hear this a lot from our clients, and we do a ton of stories for clients. So we'll do like story sets, like 3 to 4 images that tell a story, and we'll create those graphics for them and schedule them, and we do those for their freebies, their webinars, their online courses, really great tips, blog posts. I mean, there's so many ways that you can really create a story with graphics on Instagram stories that will engage your audience without you having to be on camera all the time. So let's kind of go back. What did we learn about the ways that you can grow your audience quickly on social media, right? So spending hours on social media every day is not your job. You need to stick within your area of genius and hire a team to help you with everything else, including social media. So a good first start is to hire a team like ours or a social media expert to take care of your social media. It's going to be a smart investment, and it will feel so good to get it off your shoulders. So the key to building followers is really to engage with people online. Engage, right? Don't forget to be social on social media. And after engaging with someone in the comments section, consider sending them a direct message. Use a template that you can use over and over again, but personalize it to them. And remember, groups can be a fantastic way to find hundreds, if not thousands, of members of your ideal audience all in one place. But don't join hundreds of groups. Instead, focus on a few and use hashtags to find your ideal audience. Use hashtags to allow them to find you, and make sure that you're creating valuable and actionable content. It really is the key to getting followers and keeping followers on social media. So unfortunately, social media, it is inherently disposable, right? And Instagram stories really embraces that. So don't be afraid and don't overthink it. Even if it doesn't go as great as you think it's going to go, it's going to expire in 24 hours anyways. So just do it, give it a try, and you'll get more comfortable with it. And a good starting strategy for stories is just post once a day for 5 days and then go from there, see how it feels. And really try it for 30 days. I would love for you to reach out and let me know how it goes after 30 days, because I hear over and over again from our clients that after 30 days, they kind of feel like a pro and they actually start to really look forward to it and look forward to the engagement with their audience. So I know we're only scratching the surface here as far as what our digital marketing team can do to revamp and supercharge your social media presence. And if you ever want a better idea of other ways that you can grow your social media audience, we have a ton of free resources on the website. So one of them that pops out to me is we have a Making the Most of Social Media workbook. So inside it, we share some of the secrets that we use to help our clients build their social media following and the secrets that I've been using on my own account. So I've really focused over the past few months to grow my Instagram. It had been kind of stagnant. I hadn't been paying it a lot of attention. I wasn't practicing what I preach. And I thought, I really need to change that. I didn't even have like 2,000 followers, but I really was like, I need to change this. And I know that it's a lot of work. I know that because I do it for other people all the time. But now it's up to 6,000 in just a couple of months. So it's growing and growing. So it's definitely worth the time. And of course, if you prefer to cut right through the chase and have us take care of your social media, then please schedule a free consultation. You can do so at jennylyon.com/chat. And together we can talk about your social media goals and how we can achieve them on a budget that will work for you. And of course, don't forget to grab the Making the Most of Your Social Media workbook. You can grab that at jennylyon.com/social media. And I hope you found these tips on ways that a social media expert can help you grow your audience quickly. And again, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I look forward to seeing you next time on another episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple.